So welcome to the show, Tell Like It Is. I'm your host, Mark Wasberg, and here's my co-host, John Monks. As you see, we're live out here in Richmond, California by the Marina Bay, which is a beautiful place. But this is serious stuff we're going to talk about, America. I said, we are under attack, John, not by Russia, not by North Korea, not by China, by our own government, the Democratic Party. We know for a fact, you've been watching the news every day, that the Democratic Party has sponsored terrorism and hate. They sponsored the BLM, Antifa, Hamas. Matter of fact, John, the mayor in Richmond, California, Eduardo Martinez, went to Chicago at an event and was praising Hamas.
Gaza will free us all. Zionism will fall.
For people across the pro-Palestinian movement and its allies in order to exchange ideas and to learn how to confront Israel in all sectors of society in order to force it to submit to their political ends. Richmond Mayor Eduardo Martinez said that if he was in a playground facing a bully, we'd feel like a Palestinian.
If Palestine were a schoolyard playground, I would be a Palestinian. That part of me that couldn't endure the abuse anymore would be Hamas.
We live in an evil country, and that's just what's happening.
Many Democratic leaders have been doing the same thing. During the BLM rioting, just about every Democratic lawmaker, especially the black lawmakers, were out there supporting the BLM, burning down America. Matter of fact, one of them even talked about assassinating Trump. Is this the way our government should be? When you take a note to the Constitution, then they go around and support crime and violence and hate and terrorism? Is it, John? John, they're doing it.
I know we have people that are voting for Zambani and other people who are just enormously unrealistic. They don't look at the facts, wants free housing and all this kind of stuff, but when it gets down to paying for it, there's nobody there. And that's what brings down society. It makes us broke.
Well, sure, because what they're doing is they're taxing the Hades out of the rich and giving to the poor. See, they call it socialism, but actually it's another word for communism. Now, let's take a good look at Madani. Now, he's running for mayor in New York City, right?
Yes.
Now, he wants to have free busing, free child care. Just about everything's going to be for free. And matter of fact, the grocery stores are going to run by the government. This is what you see in China and Russia and North Korea. John, this guy is, and plus he's a Muslim. He hates gays and he hates the Jewish people. How can you have people in our government that support hate? Alliance, they want to pass these laws saying, well, you can't buy your Snickers bar, you can't buy ice cream, you can't buy potato chips, you can't have these snacks. The only thing you're going to be able to buy is all this health food stuff. And it's going to be more expensive. John, this is not what America's all about.
It is not. It's about choice, freedom of choice. Now, I'm not saying that Snickers and potato chips and all that kind of thing is good for you. We ought to be eating healthy. But the government doesn't know how to make us eat healthy. It's not going to do it. They pasteurize milk. They do all kinds of things, which is actually anti-health.
And now you have the federal government attacking law enforcement. Every day you see on the news, ICE is doing a job that they was trained to do under constitutional law. You have state governments, especially in democratic cities and states, they're attacking ICE. They're going after ICE. See what it is? It's all this rhetoric. Hate, they're calling them stormtroopers, they're calling them Nazis, they're calling them people, they're calling ICE criminals. Oh, they're just taking people right off the street. They're going into their homes. Well, sure, you commit a crime, law enforcement has every right to go into a church, into a school, into a bathroom, anywhere you go, they have the right to come and get you.
That's correct.
And now they're out there protesting because of the Democratic Party, like Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, AOC. You got, Jasmine Crockett, she's really an idiot. She said, well, if somebody commits a crime, they're not a criminal. When you commit a crime, you are a criminal. See, this is the rhetoric by the Democratic Party who's preaching this stuff, and it goes out to the public, and it's the public that are feeding this. Matter of fact, they even tried to assassinate Trump. They assassinated Charlie Kirk because on this rhetoric by the Democratic Party. They want to overthrow our government. They don't even have to fire a shot, John. All this money's coming in from probably Russia and China and all these other organizations to overthrow our government. They almost did it during the BLM rioting.
Yes, they did. It's mostly China. Russia doesn't have that much to contribute, but maybe they are. But the point is very simple. If the local cities and the local governments can't handle their own affairs properly in terms of crime and violence, these kind of things, the federal will step in. Rightly or wrongly, they are going to step in. And they're stepping in Richmond already. ICE is here.
Yeah, matter of fact, actually, the city council, the RPA, even Richmond mayor, says, we will protect you. We will protect you from ICE. Even the police chief, French, she even admitted, well, we're here to protect our community. Well, the illegal immigrants are part of the community. And this, I think it was 2 weeks ago, you had ICE come in here. They didn't say a word to the Richmond PD because they're not going to say anything. And they arrested a few people right in the heart of, we call it Little Tijuana here in Richmond on 23rd Street. That's where all the illegal immigrants are at. It's in a 3 mile by 3 mile radius, John. They control the whole complete 23rd Street, right? And most of their businesses, if I stand corrected, are laundering by the drug cartel. I see these new stores popping up with all this new stuff. Where they're getting the money from? They have to get the money from somewhere. And now they're out there protesting against ICE. They call ICE a bunch of criminals, like I said before. They're even attacking them every day. You see on the news, mobs just going after ICE. And then you have these. This is really something, America. You have these judges, federal judges, going against law enforcement. This is not what it should be like. The purpose of a judge to enforce the laws on the books.
Exactly right.
They are not to get involved in any presidential decision unless somebody files a lawsuit. You file a lawsuit, you take the federal court, then they figure out if it was lawful or not. But you got your judges standing up for criminals.
Well, they're ideologues. They're ideologues. They don't want to follow the rules, as you say, as written. They just follow what they believe it should be as written.
Just like that one, they had 2 judges over there aiding and abetting criminals from the law, and they get arrested, and then they plead not guilty. Then they play, well, we have the right, since I'm in court, I have the right to protect the illegal immigrants. This is the most stupidest thing I ever seen in my entire life. But see, Sean, this is what happens when you start to overthrow a government. When you start a revolution. This what happens when you get government fighting government. Usually it's the people that goes after the government, right? But now you have the federal government fighting against the federal government. This should not be like that, America. I used to be a die-hard Democrat, John. But when Trump got into office,
on you.
When Trump got into office, I realized what Obama did, let all these illegal immigrants come in here. And he's the one that set up the cages. Then there was blaming Trump for it.
Yeah.
It's lie after lie after lie, and the people soaked this in. And then they started going after the people that's standing up for law and order. This is what our country is all about. Like Joe Biden had millions of criminals just pouring into the United States.
And George Soros was funding the parades of criminals that were coming through Mexico up to the border.
The border was wide open, man. They even charged the National Guard. You see that on the news? They charged the National Guard and just went right by him. But now since Trump is in office, he got Constantine Wire, he got the army down there, and almost hardly anybody's coming through now. And this is the fun part here. He's over there blowing up the drug cartel now, which he has every right to do. they don't, like say, our American people are dying because they're so stupid to take the fentanyl, and they don't have to fire a shot, John. They just say, here, take this and take that, take this and take that, and they're taking it. They're see, this is how you destroy a country. You poison they are poison America. This is what they're doing.
There's a lot of ways of poisoning America. Drugs is just one of them. It's also the music, the culture, all kinds of things.
Yeah,
Pedophilia, things like that.
Yeah.
That destroys America.
And this is what the Democratic Party is doing. They sponsor these people being like this, John. It's hard to believe that. They take a note to the Constitution, then they go all the way to Venezuela to have a cocktail with the MS-13 guy who was in here illegally first. But Obama made him an American citizen, right? That's what he did. But first he came here illegally, and Obama goes, oh, sure, you could be an American citizen. Then when Trump got in the office, they found out who he was. Then they shipped him back, and they had a big protest. It was on the news every day. Now, let's talk about the government shutdown. What I can't believe, John, you have the GOP controls the House and the Senate, right?
Yes.
So how can we have a shutdown when the GOP could just say, okay, we're going to vote for opening up the government again?
Because the Congress set up its own rules that says that the budget has to be passed by 60% of those present, and they can't, and the Republicans can't get past that hurdle because there's not enough Republicans. That's the problem right there.
You need to vote the Democratic Party out. These people are plain ass criminals. It's hard to believe you could take a note to the Constitution and support Hamas.
It's taken away a lot of our freedom.
Well, we know for a fact the Democratic Party is taking away our freedom. Biden had the FBI going after the Roman Catholic Church and the libraries, Mrs. Cleaver. They were spying on everybody, John. They were spying on the board members, the PTA, little Johnny and Mary Jane going to school. They were spying on them. They were spying on everybody. It was totally stupid what Joe Biden was doing.
They were?
Joe Biden was the most stupid, brain-dead moron president that this country could ever have. This guy was a pure idiot and a loser.
That's sad. The way they lie so much is just incredible.
And then Jerry Nader of New York City said Antifa is just a myth. They don't even exist. Hello? Go out there and look in Portland, Oregon, man. It's a total mess, John. You had Antifa. Antifa was ruling that city. And the politicians let it all happen. Well, the Democratic Party posts us be for the people, right?
Yeah.
They're for the people being criminals. They're for the people being rapists and cold-blooded killers and murderers and pedophiles. Just about every low-life scumbag criminal out there that the Democratic Party is going to protect. All these illegal immigrants, that's what they're protecting.
That's true.
It's hard to believe they could take, it's like a two-edged sword. I'm shaking your hand and I'm stabbing you back at the same time.
That's what they're doing.
I take a note to the Constitution, right, America? Oh, I'm for the law and order. I'm for this, I'm for that. Then at the same time, they're over there supporting Hamas and Antifa, the
That's
BLM. It's just amazing. And I just, I keep telling you people, don't be stupid. Don't fall for this garbage. But there's people out there who wants this to happen. Anywhere you go, America, you tell it like it is. But remember something, the Democratic Party has to go. These people have no right being in our government. Like I keep on saying, once you're in government, you do not have the right to support terrorism and hate and violence, supporting Hamas. Until next time, tell it like it is, America.